Okay, I have been busy all day, but I took a break just now so that I can get started on this series of stories called The Funeral. Now, keep in mind, this part of these stories are sensitive to me, so while I'm telling the beginning, the middle, and the end, I probably won't be drinking or nothing because I want to remember every part because I don't want nobody thinking that I lied on them. So I'm going to start off with the day after. The day after my sister passed, we had my mom. I had followed my sister to the coroner's office. My husband had arranged for the tattoo man to come to the house, so I got my sister's tattoo on my arm that next day. I never slept. So I had already called my dad. My dad had already called his side of the family. My mom's side of the family, co-workers and stuff like this, had found out. Margaret knew, the kids knew. All hell had broke loose. The city was turmoiled with us. Okay, keep in mind, my mom is severely diabetic. So I got my mind on my mom. I got my mind. It can't wrap around that my sister is no longer here. I got my other sister and my brother to look after because they got to help me with my mom. All this is going on, and my phone is steadily ringing. Not just my phone is ringing, but my mom's phone is ringing. But now I have to make sure that her boys is okay. I got to make sure ain't nobody ripping and running in her house. I got to make sure the cameras is pointed outside of my sister's house to make sure everything is cool and this, that, the third, whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is what I had to do the very next day. Now, this is where the setup and stuff came in. When I say the setup, automatically because my brother is a great guy. Because my brother is smart. He calls me. He said, Monica. He said, we got to keep an eye on Mom. We got to keep an eye on Margaret. I'm telling Clyde like I got him, Clyde. I said, we got to get this stuff going on. But meanwhile, the coroner's office is looking for the funeral home. My mom chose Bowman. When she chose Bowman, she went there herself and she looked around. She chose the casket was blue and everything like this. I have pictures of that, but I'm not sharing them on here because it's not public. No. Okay, so my mom chose the blue casket. Monique was going to wear blue, her favorite color. This, that, and the other. We getting shit together. So this is the beginning of the series of events that happened at my sister's funeral. So I call up to where Bubba is, and I have the CEO call me back and have him to call me directly. This is when he found out that my sister had passed. He is in disbelief just like everybody else. I couldn't blame him because he wasn't with her. He didn't see her. The last time he had seen her was 2 weeks before this event happened. So when I talked to him, of course, her boys is hysterical. My sister has lost it. My mom's blood sugar then shot up and went down, shot up, went down. My mom started out at the beginning of this. My mom was like maybe 260 pounds. My mom dropped down to 180 something pounds in no time. Now keep in mind, my sister died June the 26th of 2015. Her funeral was 2 days after the 4th of July, which was like, I believe on the 8th. I'm not sure. I don't have her pamphlet in front of me. But at the end of the day, this is what was going on. Now, in between this, I got family calling from out of town, which is her sisters and her sisters. I'm going to say her sisters because her brothers never called. They never came. They never did none of that, which was my uncles. They never participated at all with my mom because it's something that happened years prior to. But we're going to tell that story too. But at the end of the day, I had to keep my mom in check. I had to keep Margaret in check. Plus, now we're doing funeral arrangements. Now, I went like maybe 2 or 3 days after that. My brother had called me. He like, Mike, come to my office and we'll work on her obituary. When we was working on her obituary, we took our time, and me and my brother for 3 days had got names, dates, who was related to who, this, that, and the third. We count individual letters. We count individual words because they charge for that in the newspaper and on the pamphlet. We didn't want her just to have a regular pamphlet. We wanted her to have a book. This is my sister. We're going to make sure to take care of my sister. Because at the end of the day, it ain't about nobody. At the end of the day, this is for my sister, so we going out of our way, me and my brother, putting this together. Because I got Margaret crying, I got my mom not eating. I could have found my mom 2 or 3 days laying on her porch, on her swing, sleep. Because she don't want to go in the house, because right before my sister died, my sister had moved in with my mom because she was sick. So we didn't know that Monique knew she was this sick until way after, years afterwards. That will come in another story. But at this time, me and my brother is holding my mom, my sister, and the rest of the family down. Phone still blowing up. Now I got people offering services that I got people offering services. We're going to get to that part. Okay, and through this, Bowman's called my mom and tell them they went down to the coroner's office, picked my sister up, and took her to the funeral home. So this is the first time her boys is going to see her, because they didn't get a chance to see her at the hospital, because they just didn't get a chance to see her at the hospital. But this is the first time they seen her. It's like in disbelief. My mom pulls my sister's hair back into a ponytail, and she cuts the end of her ponytail off so that we can have a piece of her hair to go on a necklace, which I just remembered about that. So my mom got to come up off my piece. Okay, but anywho. So we got that under control. My mom didn't already talk to Bowman. It's going down. We thinking everything is okay. Now we got family members that's calling and talking to my mom like, is there anything I can help you with? Is there anything I can help you with? All of a sudden, Bubba's brother's wife, remember her, called me and said these words: I'm a member of such and such a church. And at such and such a church, by me being such a loyal member, y'all can have her services there. I'm thinking like, oh, okay. I said, so who do we need to talk to? Oh, no, you don't need to talk to anybody. Because I loved your sister like she was my sister, I'm going to go ahead and take care of it. Now, keep in mind, this is what she told us. This is what she told me and my mom. She even came past my mom's house and told my mom this. My mom, overjoyed, hugged her and all this other stuff. Now, keep in mind, my mom's still cocked and ready. You know what I'm saying? So, we got that. I'm trying to keep her calm. I'm trying to keep Margaret calm. Her boys calm. My baby done broke his hand because when he found out that Monique had passed, he punched the refrigerator and broke his hand. But he never went to the hospital until after the funeral. So I got that on my mind. Also, people are telling my mom stuff like, well, I'll be in town this week. Well, I already made arrangements for this, so I won't be able to attend. But it's nothing personal. It's just that these arrangements was made prior to this situation happening with Monique. So I'm like, okay, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the focus is not on them. The focus is on 3 people. Both of her boys and her. I got to make sure that they are okay. I could tell you what it's like to lose my sister. I can't say what it's like to lose my child or my mom. So therefore, I'm like mentally focusing on them 2. Margaret to pull herself together. Clyde is all right. I'm thinking everything is cool. This person then told us that we could use this fancy church of hers to have this funeral and stuff at. So the first issue of, hey, we putting it out. The funeral is on this day and it's at this church. Now, keep in mind, I done put the information out. My brother done put the information out. We done told people from out of town, this is where the funeral was getting ready to be. This is where the line started at, right here. Okay, let me explain to you why my baby punched the refrigerator. I told y'all that both of her boys are super light. When I had my baby, he's dark-skinned like her, left-handed like her. When I say he's dark-skinned like my sister Monique, he's dark-skinned like her. He's left-handed just like her. She swore up and down I had her baby because that is her son. So from the time Curtis could speak, he had always called Monique Mommy Monique. He called me Mama, but he made it clear that was his mommy Monique. If he got in trouble with me, he could stay with Monique. She would come and get him. Even if he wasn't in trouble, she would come and get my baby. So he was devastated. He punched the refrigerator, broke every bone in his hand. Okay, so he didn't go to the hospital, whatever the case may be. I explained that before. Now we're going to get back to the arrangements. So I goes the third day. I goes up to Clyde's office. I'm sitting there. We finalized everything that's going in the actual newspaper and in the pamphlets. Now keep in mind, my brother, to whom I love dearly, my brother was the one that took it up on himself to actually pay for the stuff in the paper and the stuff at Bowman's. Now, my mom's sisters, them that came from out of town, they coming in, people coming in from out of town to support my mom, supposedly, and to, take the edge off. But see, they know not to call her because my mom is like cocked and ready. She ready for whatever because she ready. Okay, my mom to put a hammer in her purse. She is ready. My mom's ready. Listen, John Henry didn't have nothing on Mary King. She was ready. Okay, so they calling me like, Monica, is there anything I can do? I'm like, no, we already took care of it. This, that. Well, where's the services at? This is Bearded Betty talking. Where's the service? Who got the body? I said, Bowman's got her. She was like, oh, okay, I know them. We grew up with them and this. Try that high society long cigarette ass shit. You know what I'm saying? So she talking shit. She talking about, oh, well, I know them. Oh, we grew up with them. So they better make sure that my niece is okay. She's trying to be important when she wasn't important. What should have been important, it wasn't important to her. The show was what was important to her. Now, keep in mind, by me and my husband being in the bike scene, the bikers that already came to my husband like, we're going to escort Dip's sister regardless. We got her. I got bikers calling me like, what do you need done? I'm going to shut the whole bike club down, YB Youngbloods. Shut the whole clubhouse down, gave me the whole clubhouse for the day of my sister's funeral, for the after funeral, the after, that stuff. Okay, so I got that going on my phone. I got, the conniving going on my phone. I got this girl telling me she got the church. We still in the deal. We putting the dots and the I's where they supposed to be. We getting ready to get my sister home. Okay, now that me and my brother done took the pamphlet money and all this other stuff, the write-up that we had and stuff, he done took it to Bowman's. We thinking that this is it. We done corrected everything that was corrected on it that need to be on there. Everybody is on there. Okay, so we thinking this part of the arrangements is done, but it wasn't. Wait till y'all. Okay, so now it's like going on 4 days in. Now I got my dad. He's already sick. Now my dad had prostate cancer. And he had a filter like put in his groin right before this. But my dad had dropped a lot of weight. My dad was like 6'7", like going on like 310. You know what I'm saying? He a big guy. But he done lost weight. He's sick. So I got my dad getting ready to get here from New Haven, Connecticut. My dad was coming. My aunt, Bearded Betty, was coming from Atlanta. My aunt, who is the bomb.com, Loretta, she was coming from Seattle. But Loretta was going to come the day before. But she had other stuff that was going on, and she was trying to make sure that stuff was corrected. So I already had my mom's 3 sisters that was here. I had my uncle that never participated, uncle number 1 that didn't participate, or uncle number 2 that didn't participate. All the cousins and stuff is calling me, the first cousins. This is my mother's brothers and sisters' kids. Now they checking in and stuff like this, checking on my mom. Because of the feud between my mom and her brothers, they kids is actually coming to my mom like, regardless of what's going on between my parents and you is my aunt. I'm coming. That was my cousin. I'm coming. I tip my hat off to them to this day. Okay, so I got that cleared up. Now I got, we had the meeting. Everybody decided everybody's wearing blue. It didn't matter what color blue, it was blue. It was blue. My mom had picked Monique's suit out. I had picked out the wig that we wanted Monique to have on because I didn't want nobody picking on her and this and that and the other. Plus, I told the funeral home, I'm going to do her makeup. You would not put that gray makeup on my sister because she wasn't gray. My sister was dark chocolate, looked like almost like a damn, my sister was dark. I didn't want her gray, so I went and bought makeup specifically for this event. So at the end of the day, Bowman's allowed, right before everybody came into town, Bowman's allowed, they got her dressed. I did her hair and makeup. My brother did her fingernails and her toenails, and Margaret helped me with her hair. So they gave us the whole, Bowman's let us be there for hours to get her completed. This is where the animosity came in at. Okay, now keep in mind, I told y'all about the aunt that was in the wheelchair. Now, I hadn't spoke to her because keep in mind, 2 days before, the day before, 2 days before my sister passed, I'm on the phone talking to her, and I hear my aunt in the background because my sister took care of her. I hear her in the background like, you not getting paid to sit on the phone talking to Monica and this, that, and the third. I'm paying you to take care of me. Hang that motherfucking phone up, blue squat, scoobity whoop, all this shit. I hear her say this. I haven't spoken to her yet because now my sister is gone. Now I got all this on my mind. Now my mom is sick. Now I got Margaret doing her thing. I got to keep in contact with my dad because he's already sick. I'm worried about him traveling from where he's at to get here because he's coming. Regardless of what anybody can say about my dad was coming. Okay, I had my stepdad still calling and asking me what's going on. Now, keep in mind, I have not slept. If I sleep, I wake up crying. So I'm agitated and I'm irritated. I'm all the tated. Whatever it was, I was detated. Okay? So my phone rings. It's the aunt in the wheelchair. Monica, I need to talk to you. I said, what do you want? She was like, I don't know what you got an attitude for. We all got to be sticking together. I said, we wasn't sticking together when you was hollering at my sister the 2 days before she died. Monica, I need to talk to you about that because you've been telling people. It was the truth. I heard you. I said, yeah, I will gladly meet up with you. She was like, why you saying it like that? I said, because I need to see you face to face because what I need to talk to you about, we need to be face to face. We don't need to talk about it. We need to be face to face, not over no phone. At that time, she hung the phone up. When she hung the phone up, she called my mom. When she called my mom, she told my mom, Monica got an attitude with me. What's wrong with her? My mom tells her exactly why I'm pissed off. So when she found out, she called me back. She was like, oh, I hope you ain't trying to. Oh, honey, we can gladly talk. Because keep in mind, in the back of my mind, a couple years back, she tried to get the DNA on my baby. Keep in mind, I got that way back in here. Okay, so now I'm holding animosity. I am like on 100 because you called my phone and you thought you didn't do nothing wrong. So her other sister called me, the youngest. Monica, we all need to come together and kumbaya. We ain't kumbaya and nothing. I want to talk to her. As a matter of fact, she's uninvited. I better not catch her at this funeral. She better not come. This is what I told them. And they didn't listen. So it was on when I seen them. Okay, so my aunt called me. We're going to call her B. My aunt B called me, and she is so calm. And she says, Monica, she said, sweetie pie, she said, listen to auntie. She said, there's no reason to hold animosity. Everybody know that y'all on edge because she's gone. We don't want nobody fighting. This is not a time for everybody to be fighting. I tell her, I said, auntie, I said, she started it. I said, I'm going to finish it. All I asked y'all to do is to keep her away from my sister's funeral. My aunt tells me, she said, Monica, is that the right thing to do? I said, yes. I said, because I don't know what's going to happen if I see her. Because if you had heard the way she talked to my sister 2 days before my sister died, you would be just this mad like I am right now. So my aunt tries to calm me down. In between this, Bearded Betty that found out that I'm after the one in the wheelchair. So I got Wheelchair Willie and Bearded Betty talking amongst each other. They know not to say that shit to me because I'm not going at this point. At this point, I done went from grieving. The stages of grieving is horrible. They can tell you what they want to about you grieving. The stages of grieving don't happen in order. It don't. If you go from grieving to not grieving, crazy to not crazy, psycho to psychotic. You go in these stages and they all mixed up everywhere. So I was a little piece of everything at this point. So Bearded Betty called me like, what's going on between Wheelchair Willie and you? I tell her what's going on with Wheelchair. And she goes to tell me some old crap like, well, you need to forgive her. She didn't know what she was talking about. She was sick, blah, blah, blah. No, she knew exactly what she was doing. And y'all gonna know that she knew when I tell y'all when I get to the funeral part. Okay, now we're gonna go back. Now we're going back to Bowman's. And we're going back to the pamphlet that me and my brother fixed. And it took us 3 days. Now, keep in mind, I don't know if I'm going to go any further with this part of the story about the funeral. But I don't know. I got to see how I'm feeling about it because I'm getting irritated. And I have no reason to be getting irritated because majority of these players are gone now. So I can't really, hold a grudge because I don't want to. I'm not going to block my blessings. But we get to Bowman's. No, When we don't get to Bowman's, I get a phone call to meet my aunts. To meet two of my aunts and two of my mom's cousins up at West Town Shopping Center. So when I get up there, my aunt talking to me and this and that, my phone rings. It's my brother. Now keep in mind, my brother don't call. My brother called me, and when I picked the phone up, this is what he said, and this is how he sounded. He said, "Monica, my brother, do not cry." You could tell he was getting ready to cry because when he called my name, it sounded like he needed me. So I stopped the conversation with my aunts, and this is what happened. Okay, so I'm on the phone with my brother. I stopped them in the middle of their conversation. I stopped them. Hey, it's my brother on the phone. Hold on. He like, "Monica, you are not going to believe this." I'm like, "What?" He said somebody that went down to Bowman's and they done changed her whole pamphlet. They changed everything in the newspaper, and it was too late for us to go down there and fuss and cuss about it because it was already printed. Now, keep in mind, I had already told y'all that Bearded Betty had already told me that she had grew up with Bowman's. But at the end of the day, they didn't put no money down on my sister. They didn't pay for shit. But they went down there and changed everything that me and my brother had worked on. So at this point, I done threw my car in reverse. Now she's listening to the whole conversation. What Clyde is talking to me about. When he finished talking to me, she like, "Monica, wait a minute, what's going on?" I tell her, like, "It's something going on down in Bowman's. They done changed my sister's stuff. I got to get to Bowman's." She's stopping me like, "Monica, wait a minute. I'll talk to Bowman's myself. I'll get it fixed myself because it has to be a mistake." I said, "I got the rough draft and so do my brother." I said, "You let me get down here and this pamphlet don't look like what me and my brother worked on." I said, "I'm going to tear Bowman's apart at this point." Now, I done threw my car in reverse. I'm getting ready to head out the parking lot. Before I can head out the parking lot, I see them kind of walking really fast to their car. Now, keep in mind, I'm trying to get to my brother, get to Bowman's, and try to figure out what's going on. Now, keep in mind, a couple of days prior to, we done already went down there, listening to Michael Jackson and getting Monique dressed because Monique was absolutely in love with Michael Jackson. So we played Michael Jackson, got her dressed. My brother did her feet and her hands. So you mean to tell me, because y'all didn't have nothing else better to do, now y'all done went down there to rearrange this stuff. I done called my mom. I done told her exactly what's going on. My mom was crying when I called her. She straightened up. She went into Mary King mode. She said, "Monica, don't go to Bowman's. I'm on my way. That's my child. I am on my way to Bowman's. I'm going to find out myself what happened." So at this point, now I'm pissed. I'm burnt. I'm on fire. It is what it is. I'm ready. Okay, so I'm investigating now who done this shit. Now keep in mind, her brothers is not involved in none of this because they was being petty. Petty is what they was being. Petty about my sister. They couldn't sit their petty differences aside with my mom and just come and support her with her child. None of them done lost a child. My mom is the only one that has ever lost a child. So therefore, I would have expected them to grow up, but they didn't. It got worse. The funeral, day by day, it kept getting worse and worse. This was like a travesty. Now we getting ready to talk about this old church. Okay, at this point, now I went into business mode. Now I am trying to go back. And I'm checking on everything now because now somebody done touched something that they should have never touched. They done something conniving, underhanded, sneaky, and petty to my mom, trying to rearrange stuff so they could seem like they was important, but they wasn't. So now I got my mom going crazy down at Bowman's. I got my brother upset. He headed to Bowman's. My mom done redirected me. Now I'm calling about the church. Nobody's answering. I done inboxed on Facebook about the church. Nobody's answering. Now keep in mind, Bubba's brother's wife promised my mom 2 days after my sister died that we could have this church for my sister's services. I didn't inbox people. I done told people where to be. I'm getting phone calls, emails. I'm getting everything so that they know that where my sister getting ready to be. I'm trying to make sure the suits and stuff is correct for her boys. I'm trying to make sure my baby's okay. His hand is broke. Margaret that completely went crazy at this point, and she just started drinking. I'm slowing her down. Now, my mom got another sister. We gonna call her Hillbilly. Hillbilly decides where she gonna take up for Wheelchair Willie. So Hillbilly go and she calls me. And in between this, she's spraying sage and all this old extra stuff. She talking about this is my sister. Well, guess what? This is my sister. So now I'm on furious. I'm on pissed off. I'm ready. Okay, so she's explains to me like, Monica, it's not right. I heard that you didn't want wheelchair Willie at the funeral. I said, no, I don't. If you bring her, I'm going to listen to me. I'm going to tip that wheelchair over. I told her this because at this point, I don't trust nobody except for my mom, my brother, my sister, and my family, the immediate family. When I say immediate, I'm talking about the kids, my mom, my sister, my brother, nobody else. Nobody. Not trusting nobody. Now keep in mind, I told y'all about my Aunt Loretta. My Aunt Loretta was the only one had my mom's back when all the shit hit the fan about this other situation. The reason why my uncles and them wasn't messing with my mom. My Auntie Loretta, my mom is not close at all. But she had my mom's back because she knew my mom was right. She was the only one that backed my mom. Now keep in mind, I'm talking to her only now. I'm not talking to filling in nobody else's blanks. Now they mad. Now they irritated. I got the biker clubs telling me that they are cooking and stuff. Don't worry about it, Monica. No, they not saying that. They saying, don't worry about it, Dip. We got you. So I know that part is covered because they not going to let you down. Because before anything, bikers is family. And they stand on that. So at the end of the day, I'm not worried about the young bloods because they got us. But at the end of the day, honey, family. Ain't nothing like it. Okay, now this is not a part of the story. But because I know me and I know my temper, I'm a stop right here just for a moment to let everybody catch up because you got to remember, y'all got to remember the players in this particular story because this is just the beginning, honey. This gets more and more serious because now we got to go into the different parts of what was going on. This is just the intermission. Yeah, we're going to take an intermission because, honey, child, listen. It gets worse and worse. Now, keep in mind, we haven't got about the church. We ain't forgot about the church. The church, baby, it's the church. So, listen, we're going to take a small intermission. And I'm going to go ahead and finish doing a little bit of something around here. And then I'm going to come back. Because, honey, y'all not ready for me today, baby. They not. Okay, so keep in mind, by this time, I'm not believing shit that nobody is saying. I'm not believing nothing. You can tell me whatever you want to tell me because at the end of the day, I'm going back and I'm double checking. I'm making sure that this shit is running right because right now it's falling apart. The only thing that was corrected and the only thing that I think was kept everybody from like losing their stuff is that the Bowmans did not allow anybody to see her. They let them change it, but they didn't allow nobody to see her. So they didn't get a chance to go back there and see her. So the conversation was still going about this pamphlet. So I decided to call Bubba's sister-in-law. And I'm steadily calling her, inboxing her, trying to find her and all this other stuff. She's not responding. Me getting a bad feeling about it, I call my mom like, Mom, see if you can go over there and see if what she say or see if you get in contact with her. She's steadily calling the number. I'm calling the number. Now we inboxing on Facebook. This girl still ain't answering. Maybe a day later, this is when she decided that she was going to answer. And when she answered, she's like, yeah. She's like, I'm sorry I missed your call. And this is this. I've been busy. And whatever the case may be, I had a couple things privately that's going on in my life. And I'm going to make sure that I give y'all the final stuff about what time the body needs to get there, what time people can arrive and the wake and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I said, I thought something was wrong. She was like, no. And so I started telling her, like, please, if it's anything that I need to know, let me know now so we can go ahead and get it corrected. I said, because the day is coming. Now, keep in mind, I am still not sleeping. I already ran into the Reverend at the grocery store. He told me you could never move forward you could never move forward always looking in your rearview mirror. I didn't already see him. Now, my best friend that kicked in and she's trying to keep me calm. My husband and my kids are trying to keep me calm. Curtis's hand is still broke. Bearded Betty's still over there talking stuff. But see, I didn't know that they had a secret family meeting without my mom about my sister's funeral, about how much was on her insurance policy and this, that, and the third. I didn't find out about this until like maybe a month ago. But nevertheless, my mom is the type of person that she don't tell her business. She don't get y'all into no financial stuff because it's none of your business. Because my mom had already ran into some trouble when it came to financial stuff when my grandma passed. Yes, the plot thickens. Because the reason why my uncles did not attend my sister's funeral is because they was mad at my mom about something that went on with my grandma passed. That's a whole nother series. It's not a story, it's a series. Because those events there, are you child, those events at this is what started it all right here. You would think that if your sisters came down to support you, that's what they would have done. Keep in mind, I told y'all that my mom had been sleeping on the porch for a couple of days and this and that. And she didn't want to go in her house because that's the last place that my sister would sleep at, over to my mom's house. Now, my mom's sister, Bearded Betty, and the hillbilly went over to my mom's house. My sister Margaret just so happened to be there. When Margaret was there, it was like going towards dusk to dawn. It wasn't light outside, but it wasn't dark. Margaret called me like, Monica, get here. I'm like, where you at? She's like, I'm over mom's house. I said, what's going on? She said, Bearded Betty is here and the hillbilly. I said, what they doing? She said, they done went to the liquor store. My mom don't drink. They done went to the liquor store and they done got mom something to drink. She was like, Monica, she said, I got to make sure to stay here. She said, because mom's purse is on the porch. Now, Margaret, yeah, she sounded an alarm, but I really wasn't like startled behind it because Margaret, you can't get it past Margaret. If y'all know Margaret, like I know Margaret, you can't get it past Margaret. Margaret see everything. So I was pretty reassured that Margaret was gonna hold it down till I got there. So maybe about 20 minutes later, I pull up. When I pull up, Bearded Betty sitting on the porch, and so is the hillbilly. My mom is sitting in between them both. No, the hillbilly was sitting over to the left of my mom, and Bearded Betty was sitting next to my mom. Now, my mom is diabetic. She don't drink. So any sip of anything, my mom is like loopy. You know what I'm saying? So my mom is loopy. I tell Margaret then, I said, Margaret, because my mom haven't slept. I'm watching my mom dozing off. I'm watching her head catching herself. I tell Margaret then, I said, start packing this stuff up. We're going to get mom in the house. My mom like, no, I'm okay. And this is this. I want to spend time with my sisters. So she's spending time with them. They drinking, they talking, or whatever the case may be. But Betty offered me and Margaret a drink. Margaret drinks her drink. I pour mine over the edge and I sip the little rest of it. Because I got to stay on point now because I'm watching my mom. So keep in mind, I told y'all it was some animosity between the siblings on my mom's side. They had something that had went on years prior to. So I don't trust nobody at this point. I'm already mad about the pamphlet. I'm mad about everything that's going on. I'm mad. But I'm watching my mom. My mom is steadily dozing off. Now keep in mind, they know that my mom don't drink. They know that she's diabetic. They know that this is going on. But do they care? No. They left off my mom's porch and started a whole gossip train about, oh, my mom was sloppy drunk. We had to pull her off the porch. This, that, and the third. Now, keep in mind, how would you feel? Y'all ain't got nothing else better to do but talk about my mom being on her porch, the house that she owns, and y'all gossiping about her. Now, I'm pissed.